Shalom, shalom. Greetings to you all in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, wherever you are. Blessed today. The Lord has granted us this day for us to uh, grow and get better, and get to know Him and get to know ourselves and increase as we fulfill the purpose uh, created that we are created for. And we are blessed. I keep on insisting on this because God is a good God and has done it. Our journey is discover how much how much we've been loved. Okay, because we are not gonna cause it to happen because it has already happened, and so we only need to discover it. We only need to know it. Okay, and that's very, very important. When we study, we're looking at the heart, the divine heart, those who have a wonderful divine heart, which was going to cause greatness. Now, we are going to see something very beautiful here, comparing to David and also the Saul. Saul and David it's a good example. These are good examples of, people who have this heart and the man who didn't have it. We have two characters here. We have Saul, and you're gonna see why he failed. All right, why he failed to be the king he was supposed to be, and why David later took over because he had a different heart. So we have two people who are being spoken about in comparison in 1 Samuel chapter 18. Let me use, because we shall see, both of them are being, one is something is said about him, so there's a comparison here, and something is said about the other. So you can, as you study, you compare and see, and you understand. My purpose is to help you understand the importance of having this divine heart, and that is the key for your success. And if that heart is not there, you will fail. It's a guarantee you will fail. And don't ask questions, why have I failed? You will realize because of that heart, and it's to show you that with that evil heart you cannot go far, and you will never prevail as well. Well, it's to encourage somebody to see the importance of having this good heart. And in this chapter 18 verse 1, it says, when David had finished speaking to Saul, then saw that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own life. Now, this is important. This is an information that has been given to us because it will be useful as we journey in this story. So we see David and Jonathan. Now, Jonathan is the son to Saul. Saul was the king of Israel, the first king of Israel. And Jonathan became friends with David. And this was very key. I believe God had orchestrated this one, because if it had not happened, in some places David would have died. But Saul, God caused this man, as Jonathan, to be a friend to David, and was also a son happened to be a son to Saul. So I'll talk about it later, but notice that you have to keep that in mind. Verse 2 says, Saul took David that day and would not let him return to his father's house. All right, Saul took David that day and would not let him return to his father's house. So Saul took David that day and would not let him return to his father's house. It means that David was adopted, kind of. No, not just adopted to be not like adopted to be his son, though he mentioned about him being his son, but he wanted him to serve him from the palace. Okay, then Jonathan made a covenant with David because he loved him as his own life. Okay, something special happened to Jonathan. He kind of loved David as his own life, and this is so crucial. It's God's doing, and we'll see the importance of this later. And verse 4 says, and Jonathan stripped himself of the robe that was on him and gave it to David. And that was also significant because that robe represented something what he had put on, what he wore, he gave it to David. And his armor, even his sword, his bow, and his girdle. And David went out wherever Saul sent him, and he prospered and behaved himself wisely. And Saul set him over the men of war, and it was satisfactory both to the people and to Saul's servants. So when you study, the story is telling us that, well, David behaved well. He was also good in what he was doing, and he was loved, and he brought satisfaction both to the people and to the Saul servants. So that is to say, the Saul servants were seeing what David was doing and how he was operating, and they admired and appreciated him. Remember, there are two kinds of hearts here we're going to compare in these two gentlemen. In verse 6 says, as they were coming home, when David returned from killing the Philistine, the women came out of all the Israelite towns, singing and dancing to meet King Saul with timbrels, songs of joy, and instruments of music. All right. And the women responded as they laughed and frolicked, saying, Saul has slain his thousands, and David his 10,000s. And this is because they had actually slain the Philistine, the Goliath. It was after the victory over Goliath. Now we are seeing what happened or what followed after. Verse 8 says, and Saul was very angry. Okay. Now we begin to see the problem. Why are you angry, Saul? Remember, two hearts. There's this heart which is selfish, and there's a heart of love. The heart of love is with David, and the heart that is full of selfishness is with Saul. So we're going to learn something from here. And Saul was very angry, for the saying displeased him. And he said, they have ascribed to David 10,000, but to me they have ascribed only thousands. What more can he have but the kingdom? Now the fear, the scared, and the assumptions and the selfishness combined together is now causing or formulating the mind that Saul should have. And Saul jealously eyed David from that day forward. What is going on here? Saul jealously eyed David from that day forward. Did David do anything wrong? No. What is happening? Everything that is happening is in the heart and in the soul of this man, Saul. The next day, an evil spirit from God came mightily upon Saul, and he raved madly in his house, while David played the lyre with his hand as at other times, and there was a javelin in Saul's hand. And Saul cast the javelin, for he thought, I will pin David to the wall, and David evaded him twice. Can you imagine? Saul was in that state of madness, and there was a javelin in his hand, in Saul's hand, okay, and Saul cast the javelin, for he thought, I will pin David to the wall. So these were thoughts going on in his heart. He wanted to pin David to the wall, and David evaded him twice. So what happened is that David ran away or escaped. What is happening to Saul? He just wants to kill David. What is his trouble? It is himself. Is David the issue? No. Does the king think that David is the issue? Yes. You see, this is why I say that this selfish heart will not help you to see far, will not help you to see things the way they are. You will begin to destroy lives, innocent lives, because of your wrong perception. What he was thinking and what he was carrying in his heart was not right. What he thought about David was wrong, okay? But what we have here is Saul was afraid of David because the Lord was with him but had departed from Saul. So the issue with Saul is that he was scared of David. That is it. He was scared of him. And it's not because that David is a bad person. He was scared. Why are you scared, Saul? Because of your heart, your evil heart. That heart caused him to see evil, in David, yet he's doing projection. What is on him is what is projecting on David, and he's assuming that David is an evil person, yet who is evil is King Saul. Now in verse 13 says, so Saul removed David from him and made him his commander over 1,000, and he went out and came in before the people. David acted wisely in all his ways and succeeded, and the Lord was with him. When Saul saw how capable and successful David was, he stood in awe of him. All right, he's scared. He stood in awe of him. But all Israel and Judah loved David, for he went out and came in before them. Well, brothers and sisters, what we see here is that there was no problem with David. The issue was with Saul. All the people loved David because, you see, like I said, when you live a life that is not selfish, you find yourself reaching out to many, and the love you're sharing will come back to you. And we have another man whose heart does not care. He doesn't care about others. He's so selfish. He's so into him that even David, who's serving him well, he's scared of him. Why is he scared of the goodness and the braveness of David? Normally, these are signs of the heart that is full of selfishness. Selfish people do not see. They are not able to see that others who are there doing well is an asset. You know that even David was under the service. He was under Saul. So Saul had him in his disposal. He could use him to get better and better. He could use him so that he may walk in victory. And guess what? That will come back to Saul. But again, selfishness does not help a person to see how things are. They are always scared, they fear. Now they begin to act weirdly and very suspiciously because of the battles, the fear, the lies, the perceptions, the wrong perceptions, the assumptions in their hearts which are not true. We need to open up our eyes. I'm showing you, comparing these two, David is different from Saul. Saul is scared. Why? Because David is a good man and is doing great things for people. Why don't you do it? Do them as well. Well, like I'm saying, you realize these are signs of the heart that is full of selfishness, and also the heart that is full of love. These are different hearts. And guess what? They will affect or have effect on their destinies. It's important to know these things. Shalom, shalom.